Okay, question 20 was on iteration. As a calculator paper, this is definitely the sort of thing that's going to come up. So it says the iterative process can be used to find an approximate solutions to x squared plus 5x minus 8 equals 0. And it tells us what we need to do. It says start with the value for x, work out the value of this, and is your answer to 4 decimal places the same as your value for x? If it is, then you've got an approximate solution to that equation. If it's not, then you have to do it again. So this is the key point. That is what you were using in order to be able to solve this. So in the question it says use the iterative process to find a solution to 4 decimal places for that, and start with a value for 1. Okay, we are using that, remember. So I'm going to put this in and I'm going to write it as 2 lots of x cubed, remember x has got to start with 1, plus 8 over 3 lots of x squared plus 5. So notice every time I see x, I open up my brackets, and this is how I'm going to put it into the calculator. So it's a good idea to do it like this, because if they gave you a negative number, it would evaluate correctly, whereas if you don't use the brackets, sometimes it won't work. So put this into my calculator just like that. I want to have the fractions. I'm going to press the fraction button, and on the top I want to have 2 brackets, 1. So every time I see x, I open the brackets. So I'm not putting the 2 in the brackets, I'm leaving the 2 outside. It's only the x part that is in the brackets. And that was plus 8. And then on the denominator, I've got 3 brackets, 1 squared plus 5. So pressing equals to that gives me 1.25. So I need to write that down. Now that's not to 4 decimal places, so I need to do this again. Alright, now what I'm going to do is put that answer back into this, and then evaluate that, and then whatever that answer is, it'll probably be a long decimal. I want to put that long decimal back into this as well. And there's a neat little trick on your calculator to do this. So if I use the arrow keys, don't press clear or anything, we're going to go back into the brackets. Again, a nice thing about using the brackets is it's really clear to see what bit you're changing, so it's just the bit in brackets. And I'm going to press delete, and I'm now going to use the A and S button, which on this calculator is in green. So I need to press the alpha key and equals to get to that. And we can see it popping up into that. And I'm going to change this bit in brackets as well. Okay, so what this tells the calculator is to take the last value of what the answer was, so that was the 1.25, and substitute it into these brackets. So if I now press equals now, I get this answer, which is 1.22903. I'm going to write that down, dot dot dot, and it's already set up, look, to take that answer and put it into the equation again. So all I have to do is press equals one more time, and it automatically reevaluates that. So that's my next one. And if I press it again, it's changed slightly here, but it's mostly the same. And really you want to continue going. It says to 4 decimal places, so you want to continue going until to 4 decimal places the values don't change. So if we look here, 4 decimal places, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's going to make that 2289, and that's the same look at here. So I don't need to continue any further because the value's not going to change anymore. So rounding to 4 decimal places, I get 1.2289, and that is my solution. Now in part B, it then says by substituting your answer to part A into this, comment on the accuracy of your solution. So remember, this part is supposed to give me an approximate value for x, okay, and it should equal 0. Now it says by substituting your answer to part A. on my calculator I know this value goes on forever, but it just wants my answer for part A, so I should only really substitute this answer in, not the long answer on my calculator display. So I'm going to substitute it in. Again, I'm going to use brackets. So I've got x, which is 1.2289 cubed plus 5 lots of brackets. So every time I see x, I write brackets minus 8, and then let's put that into the calculator and see what we get. I get 0.00378 and so on. Okay, and it says comment on the accuracy of your solution. Remember what we wanted it to equal was 0, so this value here is very close to 0, so I would say that my solution is very accurate. So I would say this is very accurate since the answer is close to 0. Okay, so if it wasn't close to 0, then it wouldn't be very accurate. Let's compare that with the mark scheme. So for part A, we get 1 mark if we said 1.25. Then we have to substitute the answer back in for x. So if you've got 1.2290, let's have a look what we got. There we are, that's the second mark. And then substituting the answer back in again to get to the point where we've got 1.2289, that then gives you 3 marks. And then in part B, if we got 0.00037, we get B1, and it says B1 follow through, so that means that if you got this bit wrong, say you got 1.7 or something like that, and you use that answer into this, you would get the follow through mark for that. And it then also says we need to give a reason. So if I got that answer, I would say it's a good approximation as a result is close to 0. And again, you can follow through. So if you put an answer and say the answer got 7 or something like that, you would then say it's a bad approximation, and you could still get the method, you still get the marks from that bit.